Hey everyone, I'm Amber Wallace and welcome back to my channel, Amber Wallace Reads. So I know I haven't posted a video in a very long time, but I was finishing my junior year of college and it was just so hectic and I just had no time to make any videos, but that's all wrapped up now. I just moved into a new apartment, I started a new summer job, and I am so excited to be back on BookTube with a new video for you guys. So today's video is going to be sort of like a catching up, like an update video, because there's a lot of books that I've finished in the past few months that I haven't been on BookTube. And I also have sort of like a surprise update for you guys at the end that I'm really excited about. So yeah, stick around and watch the whole thing. The first book that I'm going to talk about is Clockwork Prints. I read this back in March, and Clockwork Prints, for those of you who don't know, is the second book in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, the first book being Clockwork Angel, and this book was really good. I just love all of Cassandra Clare's books. They're so exciting. This takes place in the Shadowhunter world. You've got this sort of love triangle going on between the three main characters. You've got very vibrant personalities, and overall it was just like a really great book to read, and it's part of a trilogy, so it really made me want to pick up the third book, Clockwork Princess, which I did. That was one of the next books I read, Clockwork Princess, again the third book in this Cassandra Clare Infernal Devices trilogy, and it wraps up so nicely. I don't want to spoil anyone because if you haven't read this series, you absolutely should. But everything sort of falls into place and it gives you that like warm fuzzy feeling at the end, but there's intensity, there's fabulous like plot arch that's been going on throughout the whole series. I don't want to say they're quick to read, but they really pull you through quickly and they're just fantastic. So I would definitely give them 4 out of 5 stars. Again, I try to reserve the 5-star ratings for my absolute all-time favorite books, but they're absolutely a fun read and they're absolutely entertaining. So those were awesome to read. I'm really excited that I got that series off my like TBR list. So the next book I read was Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, and the premise is this girl is allergic to everything and she can't ever leave her house, and her best friend is sort of her mother, who's also her doctor, and then this family moves in next door and she sort of develops a crush on the boy next door, but she can't actually leave her house and meet him. So it's a very interesting, like quirky romance that plays out. You've got two main relationships. You've got the relationship between the mother and the daughter, and that's very important because the mother is the prime person in this girl's life, and then you've got the relationship with the girl and the boy next door and how that romance sort of develops. And it was very cute, and as I was reading it, the romance was adorable. The story, there was a lot of fun, light aspects despite it being like the main character having a serious disease. And so reading it, I really enjoyed it, but as soon as I was done reading it, I sort of started analyzing it. I think there should have been more focus on the relationship between the mother and the daughter, rather than the whole thing being more focused towards the romance. In this situation, because her mother plays such an important role in her life, I would have liked more resolution with that sort of section of the book. I gave that book 2 out of 5 stars because it was fun to read, but afterwards I realized a lot of problems I had with it. Another book that I read was Pride and Prejudice, and I absolutely love this book. I've read it before. This was a reread for me, and I'm not usually a big rereader, and I say this every time I reread a book, but I listened to this one on Audible. So the first time I read it, I actually like physically read it, and this time I listened to it, and I just love this story. Jane Austen is amazing, and I actually picked up Pride and Prejudice because I was looking for the audiobook of Emma, because that was on my TBR back in March. But I was looking for the audiobook of Emma and instead found the free audiobook for Pride and Prejudice. So that's what I listened to, and it was amazing. It was absolutely beautiful. 5 out of 5 stars. One of my all-time favorites, and on audiobook it was just as good as reading it, and it inspired me to actually go watch the movie version 2. I just couldn't get enough. Another book I just finished really recently is Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Wings and Ruin. And I was so excited for this book, guys. I love Sarah J. Maas, and from what I've seen with the books of hers that I read prior to this is that they just get better and better. Like, if you guys are in the middle of like the Throne of Glass series, like, I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. The second one sort of grew on me, and then like, man, they just like exponentially got better, and I am like hooked. And that's what I thought was going to happen with this series, the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I read the first one, I was like, okay, like, it's good, like, don't get me wrong, Sarah J. Maas is, like, amazing. And the first book was good, but it wasn't everything I wanted. And then the second book was just so good. Like, the second book was the best book I probably read in 2016. It was phenomenal. So I was like, oh my god, if the second book is this good, like, the third book must be just mind-blowing. And there was a lot of stuff she had to work with. There was a ton of like plot stuff and just like characters that were set to be sort of like a thing. And I was really excited, and then it was sort of a letdown. There weren't ever like dull points where I like wanted to stop reading. I was so bored, but it did not have nearly as much intensity or like action as I was expecting. So it wasn't a bad book, it just wasn't as good as my expectations. I gave that one a 3 out of 5 stars, which is the same thing I gave A Court of Thorns and Roses, so the first one in the series. So the last book that I read recently, and I actually just finished this one last night, is When Dimple Met Grisha by Sandhya Menon. And this book was so freaking cute. It follows 2 American Indian students who just finished high school, and the girl in this story, Dimple, she's strong, she's intelligent, she's just this brilliant, self-sufficient girl, and she's just amazing, and I love her. So she's this wonderful, intelligent girl who's going to Stanford in the fall and who really wants to go to this coding camp where she has the chance to develop an app and then meet her like coding idol, and it's so exciting. But her parents are very traditional and they want to set her up for an arranged marriage. Now Rishi, his parents are also very traditional, but he also is very traditional. Like, he has very similar values as his parents and wants this arranged marriage. So his parents tell him about it, and they send him off to this coding camp where he's gonna meet Dimple. Dimple has no idea. Her parents did not tell her this because they knew that she was against it. So she goes there not knowing anything about Rishi. It starts out in this hilarious manner where there's like some confusion. They both want absolutely different things. But they're thrown together in this camp, and it's adorable. It was just like really cool to see how their heritage played into the story, and it was amazing, and I highly recommend that everyone read it. It won't disappoint you. Like, I flew through this in a day. It was that good. I would give this a 4.5 stars. It didn't quite rank up there with some of my all-time favorite books, but it was the best book that I've read in a while, and certainly the best contemporary that I've read in a while. I really, I can't say enough about it. Just go read it for yourselves. It was that good. Okay, so that wraps up the books that I've read in the past like 3 months. It's so crazy that it's been that long. Oh, so I did tell you guys that if you've made it all the way through the video, there's like a special surprise. So this might be more exciting for me than for you guys, but next weekend I am going to BookCon in New York. So if any of you guys are also going to BookCon, please let me know. Like, I would love to do a booktube like meetup type of thing. Just meet some of you guys. I'm so new to booktube that I haven't really developed any like strong connections on here, but like that's sort of the goal, right? Is to make friends who also love books. So I'm gonna be at BookCon. It's gonna be super exciting. I'm hopefully gonna like vlog the day, or at least have a lot of new books to tell you guys about. And I'm just like really excited, and if any of you guys are going, like, I just want to know. Yeah, so that was the big announcement. Hopefully it didn't disappoint. I know it's really exciting to me. Thanks again for watching, guys. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and that's it for today. Bye!